Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Dexter New Blood Season 1, Episode 2. Showtime, once again, thank you for being kind enough to not make us wait until the next day in prime time to actually watch this.
Yeah, it's nice to have it up early on the app for all of you who are also watching it early.
Yeah, and for all of us Dexter Night Owls, I still love Dexter New Blood. I came out of the premiere just like so in love with it, and I
Oh,
love.
you were on fire. Your
Yeah,
heart was
I
full. Me
was
too. It
so
was good.
it was basically just like they gave me a giant red velvet cake and I just like stuffed my face right in the middle of it and just sucked in all the goodness. And like it was impossible, I think, for this episode to be as just awesome as that first episode that had nostalgia on its side, had the longing, the anticipation, but there are still some really good, interesting things to talk about in this video.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this episode, a lot of good stuff that's being set up for the future and for the future of this series right now. Also, New Blood and what will be coming down the road. But before we get too far into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are here every Saturday night after the episode airs on the app, bringing you our reviews. So that's the best way to make sure that you get to be here for all of our videos. And also follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
Okay, I think the good starting off point here. Goodbye, Hannah. You dead. No one's surprised. This is not a shock, I think, to anybody out there in the world.
No, I don't think anybody thought we were going to see Hannah again, and as much as I really like the actress, I did not I was not a fan of the
No.
Hannah role. I just wasn't. There was just a chemistry there that wasn't really happening in a more romantic way between her and Dexter. It felt more like, I don't know, it just never really clicked in the right way for me. So to not have her coming back, I am fine with that. She can be over on Handmaid's Tale making people miserable over there.
All right, I'm about to. It's maybe the first. I need a hard hat for this comment I'm
Oh,
about to
we're gonna
make.
put on our hard
Yeah, this
hats.
is
Here we
not.
go. Okay.
I don't like Hannah either, but that's not why I have the hard hat on here. I miss Lumen. Okay, I'll be.
I
Oh,
know.
well, yeah, we are in the welcome to Lumen Island, everyone.
I loved Lumen. I for a long time thought, and maybe not,
Yeah.
that I am the only person that really liked season 5. I loved it. And not just because Johnny Lee Miller is like my favorite actor on the planet, but Lumen. I
Yeah.
loved the relationship with Lumen. And I think because Lumen was like at a 10 out of 10 by the time Hannah came in, I was just like, nobody can reach this bar.
Let us know in the comments if you are having a party on Lumen Island along with us while everyone else is just like, what's wrong with you people? We like Lumen.
Okay, so we also got the answer in episode 2 that I was hoping for, which
Yeah.
was how did Harrison figure this out? And my worry was that he was just gonna figure it out on ancestry.com or something like that. And he did figure it out through social media, but there was a lot of other steps. There was this letter, and Hannah had told him that, Dexter had died, but then he found this letter where he realized that he hadn't, and that he has this new persona, Jim Lindsay. And it took him a very long time, like years, to be able to actually find him. I believe this. I thought this was a very good explanation. Social media, people find people through social media. But yeah, when he was like, how many Jim Lindsays are out there? And Dexter's like, yes, I do. This is exactly why I picked this name. I was like, okay, they did this right.
I went back and forth on this a lot because I just felt like, okay, my expectations were probably like too unfairly high with all of this because it's just like, I think I wanted like the greatest, most dramatic answer possible here, but you're right. This is the answer that makes sense. And the more that I think about it, the more I sort of go back to this, well, okay, Could anybody else have found Dexter? I don't know, but I think the fact is nobody really was looking for Dexter. If they all presumed that he was dead and they didn't have access to this letter,
Yeah.
why would anyone else put forth the effort? And, he did spend years of effort in tracking him down. So I do buy it. I understand it. Of course, I have a million questions about Harrison still, but I at least understand that.
Yeah, the letter was the explanation that made the most sense. They gave it enough years of him looking that I was like, all right, I believe it. But yeah, we gotta talk a little bit here about Harrison. So Harrison, of course, we know his mother died,
Yes.
and now we know that Hannah also died, and then he was just on his own for 3 years, being bounced around from foster home, trying to figure out what he wants to do next, hoping to be able to actually find his dad.
It was I can't imagine being in his situation and kind of having like that frustration and devastation of learning that your father's been alive all this time and you don't really understand it. Like I don't necessarily even understand all the mechanics of him getting from Argentina back to Miami, and then like all these sort of bits and pieces. Like he makes a comment at some point in this episode, having some sort of like past addiction that he's
Mhm.
like clean on, and it's like that's fascinating to me, and like those little nuggets make me want to get like these other bits of his backstory. But I'm also sitting here being like, is he being honest? Like, is he telling the truth? Because teenagers also do lie a lot.
Yeah, they do, but I believe him. I mean, he feels very raw. He is it feels like he's just a what you see is what you get, and I think he doesn't really have much of a reason to use that as a reason why he doesn't want to, smoke or do drugs or
Yeah.
whatever with other teenagers, that you're going to drop something that heavy. It feels like it's kind of a, oh, okay, he's such a young guy who's battled something like addiction. Then if he's gonna say it, it's probably a thing that has happened to him. But the thing that I found the most interesting, that I got the most out of this, was that letter, that when he was talking to Dexter about it, and he said that the thing that he really needed to see Dexter about was this sort of like darkness, a sort of, Hannah, if you see any sort of darkness about Harrison, you gotta let me know right away. That he's been also carrying that on his shoulders, on top of his mother is gone, his, stepmother is gone, he thinks his father is dead, everybody's gone, he's battled this addiction. On top of it, there's this letter that's basically like something is wrong with him,
Yeah.
and he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, and that I think just has to be so like psychologically damaging in
Yeah.
itself, to suddenly think you're one person and then all of a sudden be like, oh, guess what? You may not actually fully be that person. And I'm sure all of this is messing with Harrison's head. And like there's one thing I wish we had a little more clarity on, and I don't know if they're gonna give us flashbacks or anything like that, but if Harrison is in Miami, we know that's obviously where Dexter was in the original show or whatever, and he
Mhm.
clearly knows that Dexter, was a cop, or at least that's what Hannah told him. Did Harrison show up at like Miami Metro at some point and be like, hey guys, can you tell me a little bit about my dad? It'd be such a good way to see some of those people back again.
Yeah, I mean, these theories have been out there all week, that everyone is feeling like, obviously, Dexter, new blood. The new blood is
Yeah.
Harrison. Then we got this episode that was very Harrison heavy, where we were really getting to know him. He's off with other kids, we're kind of getting to know him through that as well. Like, we are getting to know the new blood. So if this ends up sort of continuing on that path, will we get to see a little more of that? Because it feels like we're kind of moving into more of him. Is he gonna end up being like Dexter, or a little something different than Dexter? I'm hoping that it'll be sort of a hybrid. He'll have a little bit of Dexter with the new blood, but there'll be something that will be different about him as well.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be just a rinse and repeat of Dexter.
No.
Though I will say, Harrison, if you're gonna kill somebody, my I'm betting pretty hard on one of those dudes with like the letter jackets on, who neither of which's names I care to remember because
They're not such bad
they're
kids.
fine. They're just
They're fine.
it
They're
was
yeah, they're going through his bag, but
it's
you
just
know, it could be a lot worse.
they just feel like I want to call them red shirts, but they're not. What they can be the red jackets because they're wearing the jackets. One
Yeah.
of you guys is gonna go. Yeah. What did we learn from Harrison's bag? Oh, Harrison's apparently good at art. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting, if I had to make a prediction, that we're going to see sort of this. Dexter's going to figure out that Harrison has his own sort of dark passenger and is going to try to, I guess, bestow on him what Harry did for him, which was kind of a focus your energy on bad people. And that's where we're going to get into what is going on with this woman in the room that's
Yeah.
like, oh, champagne, we got strawberries. Then all of a sudden she's really sick and someone's watching her. And then she wakes up and the door is missing. It's so creep show. It is very good.
It is like this is the stuff that Dexter is really kind of good at is just creating just these really really dark messed up people, and they gave you like just enough in this episode to want more and to have a lot of questions because we don't know a lot about this woman. Like we saw her talk with Angela briefly in the
Yeah,
premiere, and Angela wanted to get her, a burger and fries, make sure she's properly taken care of
yeah.
and all of that. But beyond all of that, like, how did she end up at this place?
Yeah, because Angela had suggested that there was like a shelter nearby that she could go to, and she was kind of like, ah, yeah, well, whatever kind of thing. But she clearly didn't end up there unless this is like a shelter of horrors. It looks like she's in a hotel room that is now missing a door.
Yeah.
It's very, very strange. But the theories that had been going online for a while, and I thought maybe was that Harrison was behind all the missing, women that was going on in this town. That it was like, oh, he happens to show up. Oh, these women are going missing. But we kind of saw the person who was like watching through the camera and sort of seeing what was going on with this poor girl in this room. I don't know. It feels like an older man. I mean, we saw Matt's dad,
Yeah.
possible suspect.
Yeah, we saw him and we saw the, old helicopter dude. Like I think they said his name was also, but yeah, you guys, the really, really rich guy. Like that,
Yes.
if you are like that rich that you can give people out a helicopter, I'm sure you can create a hotel of horrors that you're going to like store, poor people in. And it's gonna be interesting to sort of figure out, okay, how did this woman get to this place? Was it something where she thought, from the get-go, maybe she didn't want to tell Angela where she was really going for the night, that she had some
Yeah.
sort of plan in advance, or was it more by chance? Like there's a lot of different sort of variables into how this woman ended up there, but because at first, she certainly didn't seem upset to be there at all.
No. If I had to throw out a prediction, I feel like this is going to be Harrison's first kill. Not the woman, the person who is running this. We'll call it the Hotel of Horrors. That's what we've been calling
Yes.
it. This room of horrors. It feels like Dexter will end up figuring it out who this person is. If there's something that, Harrison needs to have this urge to kill, Dexter will teach his son, and that's how it'll go. But I am starting to get a little worried that maybe Dexter's not going to make it out of the season like alive, because now we do have Dexter asking Harrison to stay. Hey, maybe you don't
Yeah.
want to just pass on through. Here's a cot in a closet is basically what is going on. But hey, it's better than on the couch, right?
Fantastic living conditions here
He's
for Harrison.
trying.
Yeah, Dexter, you're trying. You're very very new at this. You don't really know exactly what you're doing. You have Angela there though to give advice, who is doing very very well with the fact that you had a son throughout this whole relationship and she didn't know about it and just kind of came totally out of the blue.
What was also out of the blue where she all of a sudden was like, I adopted my daughter. It's
Yeah.
just like, okay, why would that be a secret? It was just, it
Yeah.
was a bit strange.
Yeah, I'm finding the Angela character to be not obtuse, but just kind of really abstract. Where I'm not feeling connected to her, and I don't think I understand fully like her motivations. Like she's clearly pretty good at her job, but not like good enough that Dexter can't trick her on some level. And she cares about him, but like, how did she get to where she is now?
We haven't learned enough about her to care enough about her yet.
Yeah.
It's not over yet, but we are 2 episodes in, and she is the character that I'm kind of like, well, okay.
Here's the character that unfortunately I want to see the most, but format wise, it's very hard to. Is I loved everything with Deb in this episode, and I was just like Deb, like getting really into it with Dexter in the car and being like, "You are a serial killer," and Dexter just like, I was like, "Oh my god!" It's the having Jennifer Carpenter and Michael C. Hall working again together. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I really love this stuff with Deb. I loved it in the premiere. I loved it here. And I love how, Deb is obviously just a manifestation in his own
Yeah.
conscious to sort of, it seemed like for a while, Deb was the person in his conscious that he was manifesting to keep him in line, keep him on routine, keep him from killing people. And now that he has killed again, his Deb conscious is just giving him hell for it and reading him to filth for it.
I love it. It is like the anti-Harry in every single way.
She's holding him accountable. And I think that because Deb held him accountable in life as well, it makes sense that Deb is the person who's going to hold him accountable, whether he's good for you, you're staying on your routine. Oh, you're killing. We're going to have a problem now.
Yeah, and I do think Dexter, he's gonna try to, I think, be on the straight and narrow. He's looking at Harris saying, okay, this is a really good incentive to try to be like the best version of myself, to present him with a good father. I think he's already got enough problems as it is now, given that apparently the entire Iron Lake PD is like right outside his house at every given moment. That's another good reason not to kill anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, even like, I gotta say, I know it's been 10 years or whatever since
Yeah.
Dexter last killed, but oh man, is he really sloppy about it? And
Yeah.
I felt like for the amount of years that he did kill, 10 years not killing, I was really surprised by the amount of sloppiness, honestly. He had enough time to figure that out.
Yeah, and there was a lot of scrambling that he did kind of throughout this episode just to even make sure nobody knew anything else. And like, I don't know if any of this is symptomatic by, Harrison showing up. Did that rattle him? Was it just a 10-year sort of break? But, he's clearly not the same exact killer he once was. But I guess maybe that will make things interesting if he kills a lot more people. And also, how are you going to kill a lot more people with your son around here, Dexter? That's another problem to think about.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm kind of wondering, like, was the premiere all we're gonna get with Dexter killing somebody? That maybe now that the son is around, this really is gonna be more about Harrison's story necessarily than Dexter's story. That Dexter really does just want to be back in his routine, and he wants to be able to go forward just in his routine, line dancing, working at the shop, and selling night crawlers.
Listen, Dexter, Jim, I'll call you Jim if you want me to call you Jim. You gotta kill again. Oh, I feel so bad saying it, but it's like,
No,
show.
he does.
Yeah.
He does. I agree. It's just, what's the purpose? Like, nothing else has come up yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that guy who's like got these women or killing these women. He's gonna be sort of the ultimate last kill, I think. Or it's gonna be a father-son team up.
I think I've got something here. I think I've cracked the case, everybody.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so Matt's dad, Kurt here, played by Clancy Brown. We saw him at the end. He mentions in this, oh, all you people worked with my trucking business at one point. Or okay, so clearly you are into like long form travel here. You are clearly trapping these women. You are then transporting them somewhere else, and they are missing in that sense. And that if I had to predict, that is where we are probably going here. Clyde Phillips, if you want to just change the rest of your story to suit what I just said, that's fine. You're welcome. I'll give you that one. Okay, I'm done.
You're generous.
Yeah, I can be very generous like that. No, I am enjoying Dexter New Blood. I mean, I didn't love this episode as much as the premiere, but
I
still
agree.
very compelling. Lots of interesting stuff.
No, it's good to get to know Harrison a bit better. I mean, it feels like the story's really going to be about father and son.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And let us know now in the comments, what are you thinking about Dexter New Blood through these first couple of episodes? Is your inner dark passenger celebrating that the show is still back? But please don't let the inner dark passenger out too much. Bad things tend to happen.
Yeah, they can just celebrate. That'll be enough.
All right, well, let's sound off in the comments. Subscribe, give this video a like. Check out our coverage tomorrow of Succession, another show we really love doing here at the channel.
It is so good. If you are not watching Succession and you like dark content, this show is dark.
Really, really dark. Kendall Dexter's coming for you. Okay, all right. We will see you guys here next time.